Hello and welcome to today's show. My name is Rajlakshmi Borthakur, and in today's show I'm going to talk about the books that I love, and I'm also going to tell you why I like these books and the influences that these books had on my life, and recommend a couple of books for you to read. I'll start the show with classics. Classics are books that are timeless and have an universal appeal. Now these books depict the time in which they were written. My favorite classic is Jane Eyre, which is written by Charlotte Bronte. Now this book taught me that physical appearances are insignificant. It is the inner beauty that matters, and it is if we could spot the inner beauty in a person and we could cherish it, then that is enough. I found this book in this bookstall. It's a compilation of the works of Emily Bronte and Charlotte Bronte. They're sisters, and Emily Bronte is also as famous as her sister Charlotte Bronte. The two books that I would like to recommend is one is Wuthering Heights, written by Emily Bronte. You'll find that book in this compilation. And The Mill on the Floors by Mary Ann Evans or George Eliot. I derive great solace from poetry. I love the works of Alfred Lord Tennyson. I like Keats, and my favorite poem by Keats is La Belle Dame Sans Mercy. The poem If by Rudyard Kipling inspires me a lot. Another poem that inspires me is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Now the last two poems are very inspirational and they have motivated me immensely. In Memoriam, however, is my favorite poem. It's written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. This is an elegy which was written after the death of the poet's friend, author Henry Hallam. What I like about this poem is that it shows the transition from despair to hope in a very beautiful way. So this has affected me, and that is a lesson that I have learned from this poem. What I liked about this poem is that there is a silver lining behind every dark cloud. So this is a very powerful message that this poem brings about. I would like to recommend two books of poetry. The first one is a compilation called The Golden Treasury. This is a very famous compilation, and it has got the works of most of the famous poets in it. The other book that I would like to recommend is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. There is a poem on love which is called Love, and I think that is the best definition of love that I have ever read in my life. So go for this book. Comics are great fun. Let's check out a couple of comics now. My favorite comic character would be Tintin, and I think Flight 714 would be my favorite. Unfortunately, I don't think they have this comic here. I also love Asterix and Obelix. If you have not read Asterix, then I recommend that you start with the first book in the series. It's called Asterix the Gaul. I think it's somewhere here. Just let me take a look at it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. This book. This is fun and entertaining, and this will make you laugh like anything. So if you've not read it so far, go for this book. My favorite superhero, however, is not Tintin or Asterix, but it is Phantom of the deep African jungle. He's also known as Mr. Walker, and I used to love him so much that I wanted to marry him. And unfortunately, he's just a comic character, but I've still not forgotten him at all. He still remains my most favorite superhero. My favorite comic writer is P.G. Wodehouse. He has given us some immortal characters like Lord Emsworth, Uncle Fred, Bongo Twistleton. He's also given us Aunt Dahlia and Lady Constance Keeble and Gussie Fink Nuttall and those interesting lively characters. And I think you know Jeeves. So Jeeves is a character that was created by P.G. Wodehouse. The books that I would recommend that you read and that would give you a lot of fun and entertainment are the short stories that are based on the Blandings Castle and the Jeeves series. I'm sure you are going to love them. Among short story writers, I think I like the works of O. Henry. I also like the works of Saki and Somerset Maugham. And I also like the works of a host of Russian writers, namely Nikolai Gogol. I like to read the works of Alexander Pushkin. My favorite short story, however, would be The Gift of the Magi, which is written by O. Henry. I think it's a very beautiful book and it has got the right spirit of Christmas in it, so do go for it. And books I would like to recommend, short story books that I would like to recommend would be the collected short stories of O. Henry's. You can also read this book. It is a collection of short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. Now Poe's work is a little dark and brooding, but you might still like his work, so go for it. If you like something light and entertaining, then you can go for Saki's work. And if you want something that relates to life and about the everyday trials of living, then go for O. Henry. Among the modern day fictions, I would like to recommend Shantaram. This is a book written by Gregory David Roberts, who was a convict who had escaped to India. So this book is autobiographical, but it is also interspersed with a lot of fictional characters and things. This book is about human courage and the strength that a human being can endure. Another interesting book is Cain and Abel by Jeffrey Archers. Now this is not the right book, but this is a book by Jeffrey Archers. So you can go for Cain and Abel. This is a book about two very powerful men, about how they they were arch enemies and how they reconciled towards the end of the book. So it's a very interesting book, so you can go for that too. The other books that I really liked reading are the books written by James Headley Chase. I know James Headley Chase is not popular anymore, but if you're looking for a hardcore thriller, then Chase's book is something that I would definitely recommend. Other writers whose work I like to read, among them I think I'm going to count Robert Ludlum. I like his Bone trilogy. I also like the work of Sidney Sheldon, but in terms of fiction, in terms of thrillers, I think my vote goes for Headley Chase. Thanks a lot for watching this show. Before you leave, I would like to do a recap of the books that I like and the books that you might want to pick up. So topping the list would be Jane Eyre, which is a classic by Charlotte Bronte. I'm sure you're going to like that book. The other books that I would like to recommend are Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. I would also like to recommend O. Henry's Gift of the Magi. It's a short story, it's very inspiring. In the poetry section, I would recommend that you pick up a book of poetry by Alfred Lord Tennyson, or if you want to try a compilation, then you can go for Turngrave's Golden Treasury. If you want to go for something light and entertaining, then I would definitely suggest that you would go for P.G. Wodehouse's collection of Jeeves or Blanding stories. If nothing else, you can go for Asterix and Obelix or maybe Tintin. And even if that doesn't work, then maybe you can pick up a book on Phantom, my favorite superhero, and I'm sure you're going to like it. That was my edition of Top 5. Stay tuned to INFI TV.